Thank you so much to all of my subscribers and everybody who has liked and commented on the past videos. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your feedback, and of course I appreciate the subscriptions. If you're new around here, I'm Birdie Galaxy. This is the Lunatic Fringe, and I do new moon and full moon horoscopes with tarot iconography to illustrate the zodiac. In this video, we will be discussing the Capricorn full moon, which takes place on July 3rd. Because it's a full moon, that means it is opposite of the sun, which is in Cancer. So this is going to be a Capricorn Cancer experience. So your rising sign determines which house is your Capricorn house and which house is your Cancer house. If you don't know your rising sign, there are many sites that you can look that up on. Just do a quick internet search for rising sign. You will need to know your birth date, birthplace, and specifically birth time in order to figure out your rising sign. So let's get into this. Okay, Taurus Rising, this full moon is happening in Capricorn, which is your 9th house, and that means the sun is in the opposite house, which is Cancer, or your 3rd house. So what does that mean for you? Well, we have the sun, which is our vital energy, life force, creativity, vitality, and the sun is actually conjunct Mercury. So that means the sun and Mercury are at the same spot in the sky, harmonizing their energies and working together. So Mercury is manifestation, action, and communication. So Mercury and the sun are in Cancer, in your 3rd house. The 3rd house is the house of communication, mindset, intellect. So every year from mid-June to mid-July, when the sun is in Cancer, it lights up your house, your 3rd house, or your house of communication. This, with Mercury rules the 3rd house, so Mercury is at home here, really enhancing that energy of communication, intellectual stimulation, thought processes, flow of information in, flow of information out, as well as relationships with siblings, cousins, people on that tier of the family tree. So this is really enhancing your communication and your intellectual activities. This may bring a heightened focus on your family matters that foster a deeper emotional connection and stimulating conversation with your home environment. So during this time, this can really bring a heightened focus on the relationship matters with your siblings, cousins. It can help foster deeper emotional connections and stimulating conversations with these relatives, with these people that fall in that category. So the sun and Mercury are in opposition to the moon, which is in Capricorn. Capricorn is your 9th house, and the 9th house is the house of higher education, philosophy, higher intellectual stimulation. It's also foreign affairs, so travel to long distances. There's a name for it. Some people call it the house of travel across waters, so traveling to long distances or places that are foreign to you, or experiencing cultures, being a part of a culture, or learning about a culture, or some sort of interaction with a culture that is different from your own. So this axis of 3rd house, 9th house is my message versus as opposed to shared message. So this is you and your brain. This is sharing your brain with others in an environment, an educational setting, like being a professor, going to college, stuff like that. The 9th house is very much involved with higher education. So when we bring the moon into this equation and it's opposing the sun and Mercury, this vital energy shining a light on your house of communication, your house of skills, this is bringing in that emotional aspect, and it may bring a heightened focus on your communication and learning, but there's a strong urge to have some emotional expression in those ideas. This can lead to some potential conflicts between this very practical 3rd house energy as well as the emotions of the moon. So this can bring that emotional energy to your realms of education, to your philosophical and spiritual beliefs, as well as to personal travel, especially long distance travel. So that there might be some emotion involved in that, and that emotional self is pulling away from you as an individual and your communication, your message. So your message is shining, but there's a lot of emotion on how you share that message with others. Into this mix, we have Jupiter. Jupiter is the wheel of fortune. This is the energy of expansion, of growth and joy, abundance, destiny. Jupiter is in Taurus, which is your first house. So Jupiter is in this first house, expanding your sense of self and expanding your authentic identity. So this Jupiter is making this 60-degree angle to the sun. And this is really fueling it. A 60-degree angle is a sextile, that's opportunity. So that's opening up doors and opening up this expansive and optimistic energy to communication as well as self-expression. This is encouraging you, this is really encouraging opportunities for learning and for growth through social interactions. This aspect, this Jupiter here, making this opportunity with the Sun and Mercury in your house of communication. So this is really opening up an opportunity for you to be able to express your beliefs and your ideas and to foster the sense of confidence and enthusiasm that will positively impact your personal relationships, especially when it comes to siblings. This is also a lot of family energy here. Even though the fourth house is the house of family, the third house can be a lot of family communication. So we bring the moon into the mix. The moon's also making an aspect to Jupiter here in your first house. It's 120 degrees away. So that's bringing a lucky aspect or a luck situation, further enhancing the potential for growth and expansion and opportunities for personal development and personal self-discovery. Jupiter in your first house is really just expansion of self. Next up we have Saturn. Saturn is the world. This is the energy of discipline, structure, fulfillment, and completion. And currently Saturn is retrograde. So that means that the energies that it's bringing are about re-examination, regenerating, reworking, replanning. This energy is about a return. You're returning to this situation. So Saturn's in Pisces. It's been there for a while. We're going to be experiencing this energy for a while, and it's not the most harmonious energy because Saturn is very earthy and disciplined and structured, and Pisces is watery, not disciplined, and not structured. So this can be a bit of a challenge here. With Saturn retrograde in your 11th house, it's making a 120-degree aspect to the sun, or a trine. So we have this period of introspection and emotional reflection. It's encouraging communication and connection with your friends. This 11th house is friends and acquaintances. And to address any underlying tensions or any limitations that you might be having within your social circle or your networking or your group organizations and affiliations or community. This is a time for restructuring your social networks and for seeking support from those who share your similar long-term goals. This can lead to the potential for establishing a more stable and a more meaningful relationship or relationships within your community setting, within your social networks. Now the moon's also making an aspect to the retrograde Saturn. It's 60 degrees away, so here again we have another sextile or another opportunity, another door opening. And this is really suggesting a period of more introspection, more reevaluation of your long-term goals, as well as your friendships. Where do you want to go with these friendships? What are your long-term goals with these relationships? There is an emphasis here on establishing boundaries. Saturn is about structure and boundaries, and aligning your personal values with this collective aspiration of the 11th house. Okay, next up we have Venus and Mars. Venus is the Empress, Venus is the Empress, And this is the energy of abundance, nurturing, and creativity. And then we have Mars. Mars is the Tower, and the Tower energy is crisis, upheaval, and revelation and action. So both of these are in your house, in your fourth house, or your house of home, family, roots, foundation, culture, past. So with Venus and Mars in this fourth house, this house of home, this is really bringing an intensity to the matters relating to your home and family. This can inspire a strong desire for harmony and for creativity within your personal home space. This can lead to major transformative experiences and a deepened connection to your roots or your past or your culture. Venus and Mars are squaring off with Uranus, or the Fool. The Fool is the energy of upheaval, innocence, or naivete, as well as spontaneity. So Uranus is also in your first house, Taurus. It's been there for a while. It's been bringing a lot of unexpected changes, a lot of shaking things up. So this can bring real sudden and unexpected changes to your home and your family dynamics. This can challenge your individual need for stability and security. This can also really ignite a passionate and assertive energy that can be harnessed to initiate transformative shifts in your personal identity and your personal self-expression. So there's a lot going on here, Taurus, with how you show up in the world, who you are, who you present yourself as. There's been so many unexpected changes and shifts in who you are and how you show up in the world over the past 7 years or so. There is so much expansive growth energy in your self-confidence, in your self-expression, in expressing yourself authentically. And these unexpected changes are really there to help fuel this new you coming into fruition. Saturn and Jupiter are also making a 60-degree angle from one another. So this is your first house and your 11th house. Now what this can really bring is more opportunity for personal growth and expansion, particularly in areas relating to your self-expression and your self-identity, while also providing this stabilizing influence of Saturn in your social networks and in your friendships, in your community, in group organizations. So this alignment can really foster, between Saturn and Jupiter here, the 60-degree angle, this can really foster balance between your individual aspirations as well as your collective connections or your collective commitments. This allows you to build a strong foundation for long-term success and for support in your relationships. Saturn's all about the long term, the long view. Structure and discipline are the way to get there. Creating boundaries is the way to get there. So lastly, we have Pluto, or Judgment. This is the energy of powerful transformation. Pluto has moved back into Capricorn. It had briefly jumped into Aquarius, giving us a taste of what that's going to be like, but now Pluto is retrograde. So again, we have this reevaluation, reexamination, regeneration back in the house of philosophy and higher education, as well as foreign affairs. Pluto's bringing that power back into that house. So this is nothing new. You've experienced this for many years, and this is sort of the last blast of having an opportunity to assess, to reevaluate, and to reexamine some of these energies. So for you, Taurus rising, what this means is this can really bring a profound spiritual transformation to your social networks and associations, and this can foster a deep sense of compassion and understanding within the collective. This aspect can also stimulate a reevaluation of your long-held beliefs and philosophies, and this can encourage a powerful regeneration of your personal truths, bringing a deeper connection with higher wisdom, with higher philosophy, with experiencing other ideas. So you're really expanding your mind. This full moon situation for you, Taurus, has a lot to do with mind expansion, bringing in new messages, putting your message out there, social networking, networking with your friends, the collective community as a whole, who you are and how you show up authentically in the world, as well as what's going on in your home life. There's a lot of passionate energy and action going on with your home. So that's all I have for you, Taurus Rising. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I appreciate you watching, liking, subscribing, and just support in general. So I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.